Oh, ready to go?
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you. All right, if we'd call the meeting to order, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Road Commissioner Calhoun,
Present.
Drain Commissioner Christensen,
Present.
Road Commissioner Greenan,
Here.
Road Commissioner Joyce,
Here.
Road Commissioner Rakowski,
Here.
Road Commissioner Popa,
Here.
all present.
Agenda, late additions or deletions? I see none. Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Approval of the minutes, meeting minutes, September 9th, 2020, and October 30th, 2020.
Chairman, there is none present for September 9th yet. Those are still under review,
Okay,
so it's just the October 30th.
perfect.
I read the minutes, and I make a motion we approve them as written.
Support.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Popa,
Here? Or yes?
Calhoun,
This is for October 30th, right?
correct.
Yes.
Christensen,
Yes.
Greenan,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yes.
Makowski,
Yes.
6 yes.
All right. We are at our first of two public comments. If you'd like to call in, you can call in at area code 231-256-8109. Okay, I think we'll move along here. Communication items, none. Action items, motion to approve bid from Fisher Contracting for lockout device. Oh,
Somebody's gotta go grab it.
that could be our public comment.
Yeah.
Hello? It's not out. Okay, let me go double check it, Eric, okay? Okay. It's just the audio.
Okay.
That's quite a delay.
Okay, I think that took care of it, hopefully.
Okay. Do you want me to go back to the public comment?
No, it was Mr. Carlson from the Enterprise letting us know that the audio was not working on the YouTube, but it should be okay now.
Okay. All right. So action item, move to approve bid from Fisher Contracting for lockout device. I see that we have that quote in front of us. And subject T&M proposal to fabricate and install gate lockout assembly at Leland Dam. Now, I'm looking at two different things here, John.
Okay, let's look at the bid first.
Okay?
This bid, Pat went out per our directions at the last meeting to go out and get a bid from Fisher and not go out to get multiple bids. Primary reason is he already gave us a hard quote in January and everybody would get to see him. He helped build this dam. He was the super on the job. He's done work for us. He just built the wall. He knows the dam up and down. And this is a very good bid and it's well within the budget. And it'll probably come in under that 40,000. And so Pat went out and talked to Fisher and in this case, Rusty, and came up with this quote, submitted it to Chet last Monday, and we have it here in front of us. It's a good type bid. I don't know if anybody has looked at all the drawings and prints and all the revisions to them, but he took away the slope floor and the sump pump and the sight glass thing and cut off the door and just restricted the prints to the safety device. And you'll probably have it in within a month or so. And the money will be spent next year. Next year's budget, we put in $47,000 and this will cover it. So if anybody has any questions about it, I don't know if anybody's looked at all the drawings over this past 2 years, but he thinks he can do it in 5 days and he'll bill us next year. So if there's any questions.
My question that I have on that quote is number 6, about the insurance policy.
That was put in there because when you go out for bids and stuff and you go through Chet's office, they're required insurance of so many million and all this kind of stuff. So it includes a quote for that.
So is that something that they pick up the cost of that or the county?
It includes it. This bid up above includes their insurance policy that's needed.
Okay, they get the insurance
Right.
and it's in place before they come.
Okay. And tell me what that amount is.
I don't know what.
It's mainly liability is.
Yeah, but what's that amount on the quote right there?
I don't know if they went from 1 million to 2 million, but I'm not an authority on
Because
that.
if it was $1 million, wouldn't it be 6 zeros?
No, it includes the policy. He has to buy that insurance of that 1 or 2 million.
So he paid $1,000
He's
for
paying
that policy.
1,000 for it,
Okay. So okay.
and that's included in the bid. If we award this bid, it includes that required insurance policy that as he goes through Laurel to write a contract. and all
Right,
that.
and that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Is that $1,000 that he paid for that insurance policy, is that being paid for by us?
No, by him.
Because you just said it was part of the quote.
Yep. It includes, this bid includes the required insurance policy that's required there.
They're buying it.
Right.
They're
Okay,
buying
so
it.
part of the quote, that's what I'm getting.
It's part of the quote and they're buying it.
Yep.
Yep.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Number 2, no other well test cost is included in our proposal. What does that mean? We have to get more testing, and if it's not included, how much is that?
What that was, Jim, when he designed this thing,
Uh-huh.
I had questioned him a year ago. Any safety device has to have the welds inspected,
Correct.
and it has to be done with a visual. It's no non-destructive testing, there's no x-raying or nothing. And so therefore, since this was a safety device, he says, anything we do here is only gonna get a visual. Meaning if you want some more, this bid doesn't include it. And there is no other requirements other than a visual. And he's made sure that these are all gonna get a visual inspection for the width of the fillet and undercutting and all that.
Okay. Because if it wasn't included and it was required, that could be quite an expense.
You're right. And so when he drew up those plans, he did an addenda to them and he made a cloud around it and says, do visual inspections. And that was the revision that went out this summer.
Okay, is there any other questions? So I'm guessing that we're looking for a motion to accept this quote or to award this quote to Fisher Contracting.
For the amount listed.
We have to make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to do that. We approve this bid and we have to then take it to the county commission.
Recommend.
So we're just making a motion to recommend this bid from Fisher Contracting to the Leelanau County Commissioners.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. So I will entertain a motion to recommend Fisher Contracting and their quote to the county commissioners.
That date.
November 16th, 2020. Is that what you were saying? The quote from, okay. So I'll entertain a motion to accept a bid from Fisher Contracting dated November 16th, 2020 to be approved and sent on to the Leelanau County Commissioners.
I'll make that motion and I'll include
For the
40,000.
amount up, I want that in there.
For the amount,
Yes.
yes. And then to include that amount of $40,900.
Okay. Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none. Allison, could we do a roll call, please?
Popa,
Yes.
Calhoun,
Yes.
Christensen,
Yes.
Greenan,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yes.
Makowski.
Yes.
6 yes.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Chairman, now that we made the motion to go in front of the board, I included what we go in front of the board with.
The executive documentary or document
Yes, if
summary.
everybody can take a minute and read it, this now has to go in front of the board. And those are my words. There's a budget amount of $41,000 for this. The contract came in at 49. In the middle of the page where it says document description, it lists it. And then there has to be a check mark, which I checked, request to waive board policy on bids. So therefore, we're going out for a single bid. And
So who wrote this up?
I did. If anybody wants to chew it up, now's the time because their meeting is December 8th. And you have to give your reasons that you're gonna waive the board policy, a little bit of background. They're gonna have this in their packet. I sent this to Steve and he looked it over. We made 1 or 2 wordsmiths out of it. We have to list the reasons why we want to waive the board policy. And then on the bottom, you got to make your suggested recommendation.
I guess my only concern is, for a contact person, wouldn't he just contact the board? Or send something to, address to the Leelanau, or the Leland Dam Authority.
Well, in this, when the board gets a packet, they get dozens of packets, every one of their meeting, they're gonna say, who is the person that, we got a question about this? And then Laurel will know who to call, and you say, oh yeah, the date's wrong, or this is wrong. And they get this stuff submitted about a week prior to their meetings. So you gotta have some name in there that
Okay.
they can answer that as the phones ring.
Okay.
I'm wondering, there's a line there that might not be necessary. And it
Okay?
might cause a little confusion for the county board now that I'm thinking about it. The line that says it was decided to install
Yeah.
the safety lockout in 2021 and go out for bids.
Oh,
I'm wondering if we could scratch that line, and the next line actually replaces it. After discussions with Machine Engineering and
It was,
the Dam Authority,
yeah, I agree. Because
it was suggested to do a single source bid.
yeah, I agree. I think that the sentence above it should be removed.
So I think once we put them on that plane of thought, and then we come to the next sentence, which takes them off that plane of thought, I think it puts some confusion in the air that would not be totally necessary. I don't know, I'm just kind of thinking out loud.
I agree.
I put it in there. I think you're right. When someone reads something and they aren't in bed with it all the time, things jump out. We had decided to install that safety device in 2021 when we were all going over the budget of what we're gonna do in what year. And I could put a period right after that. And we also thought we were gonna go out for bids, but we decided not to.
But I see.
If we cross out and to go out for bids,
Well, but then you'd have to take out the sentence below it, because they're both kind of contradicting each other. And I like the way that Steve said it, after discussion with Machine Engineering,
And the Dam Authority.
and the Dam Authority, it was suggested single source the bid. And that
Yeah.
way it kind of gets rid of.
yeah, they've already known we're gonna put it in 2021. That's
Right,
fine.
Right.
Yeah, I got this.
What do you guys think?
I think the way Stephen put it,
Yeah.
covers it,
Yeah.
makes for less confusion. We'll just get it done.
Yeah, I think it makes it a little bit easier to read. Because to me, it was kind of confusing when it said it was decided to install the safety lock out in 2021 and go out for bids.
And I think a little background, if I am remembering it correctly, when we were looking at all of the things that we needed to do for the dam, we had this lockout mechanism, and there were like 3 or 4 other items that could be done to that room. And then also, we added the flood wall.
Right.
And as we were looking at all of these things, we decided that we better do the flood wall, period. And that got separated out. And we went out to bids, and we chose Fisher. And we went through that whole process and went through all the reasons that we chose Fisher. Main one being that Rusty Friedel is the lead person for their outfit on this dam, and he has worked on the dam so much, and like John said, knows it one inside and out. Came in under bid on the wall, by the way. Very organized, has extraordinarily good folks working for him, very loyal. When he went from Gerace to Fisher, he took about 3 or 4 guys with him. These are guys that have worked with him for 20 years, experts in the field. Not many people do dam work. So you add that all up, And I think we are where we need to be, and I think we're suggesting what we need to suggest. I feel real good about it. And I worked with Rusty, as John did, when the dam was completely rebuilt in '06. And,
Well, and I don't think that there's any question about them. doing
no, I don't think so either. I was just giving background.
Sure.
You know, I think we're in the right spot. I think we're doing it for the right reasons.
But we haven't decided what we're gonna do with this particular sentence in this.
Well, true.
I'll cross it out. It's-
So I just like the way that Steve said it after discussion with Machine Engineering and the Dam Authority. It was suggested to single source the bid.
That's
And that,
fine.
it's done. And we can take that other
The
sentence.
less words, the better.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll just take that out.
Then I'll move forward. We're already on the agenda for December 8th, and so I'll just take this up there.
Okay?
Anybody got any bones with that?
I've got one comment. In the second paragraph, it says it'll be time and material. Should we add a clause in there to say not to exceed the contract amount?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I was surprised it said D&M on there when it said contract amount was 40,900 and it was budgeted at 41. But yeah, I would say not to exceed 40,900. See that on the second paragraph?
I do, but if you read the suggested motion on the bottom,
It says it will be, T&M will probably be less.
this is the motion that we're gonna suggest the board say.
Oh, yeah, recommend the
Okay.
board. Okay, yep.
It's in there, that should
Okay,
be fine.
as long as it's in there.
Yeah, good call.
Perfect. All right. So we're moving on. Okay. We're at our second public comment. If you have a public comment, you can reach us at 231-256-8109. Okay, I'm not hearing anything. Authority member comments. Garth?
I'd just like to say I'm glad to be on the board and look forward to working with everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Greg?
Nothing at this time.
Jim?
Thanks for all the hard work you've done.
John, thank you for this. I thought you did a nice job on this, a lot of work. Thank you. And I also would like to personally welcome Garth Greenman to our board. Thank you. Steve?
I'll echo that. John's been a key person in all of this paperwork and research, and he's very meticulous and has good records, and really appreciate all that. Couple things coming down the pike for this board. There's a property release question. There's a little tiny sliver of property that is sticking out in the river just upstream of the dam on the lodge side. They would like to move forward with repair of a wooden break wall in that little piece. That area was mentioned in the dam report as needing attention. So it would kill two birds with one stone if they were to move forward with that. They actually need possession of the property to go for a grant. And I haven't heard recently from Richard Baldwin, their contractor, who is mother henning the project and going for the grant for them. I'll touch base with him and see if that's still in the works. The piece is about the size of the area in front of us, and including the table, just a little tiny bit of property. It's kind of interesting that it sticks out there, and I guess technically we have it, and we could quitclaim deed it to them so they could move forward. But that's just coming down the pike, and John's been researching it, and we'll probably touch on that the next go. The other thing that was brought up to me by Mike Sheffer, John and I talk to Mike on a regular basis, but the South Lake is the tail on the dog as we try to keep with the court order. And we fill up the lakes and we dump it off at the Leland Dam. The South Lake has, I'm going to say 2/3 of the watershed. And when we get a big dump down there, it fills up, and then we have to tail it off on the upper end with the dam. So it takes a while to do that, and so there's kind of a
It is.
ebb and flow thing going on. We're always going for the court order, dumping water, keeping water. If we have to dump, south end is the last part to get to the court order. So we've got a lot of data now. We've got 3 years of data. We've got some great sensors, some great upgraded sensors, and at some point we'll probably need to look at the data and try to figure out what it's telling us. That was kind of the reason to have it in place. It gives Jerry some more tools. We've made a lot of good strides. Jerry can look and see what's going on in the dam. We've got remote sensing and video. We could even control the dam remotely. So we've made great strides, and just kind of wanted to say we'll probably look at that in the future.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that being said, meeting's adjourned.
So move.
What?